the first day of 2025. Okay. It's clear. Yeah, it is the first day of 2025. And I'm wearing a red shirt. Is it a red shirt or even a pink? I wonder if it is a pink or a red. But I think it's a red. Yeah, and I was a bit hungry. I don't know why. Usually, no, most of the time, when you eat wheat oftenly, it turns out to be an addiction. It starts chaining up to be an addiction. And for whatever reasons you try to quit, it's not possible. But anyway, I was a bit hungry, and again I don't have plans to cook today. The cooking gas, the LPG for my gas is about to, yeah, my gas is almost off. It's almost out. Therefore, I'm minimizing how I'm consuming or even how I'm using the gas, so that I prepare, at least I buy time, so that when I get the money, I can be able now to cook. There's no food in the house again. No flour, but maize flour, I can cook ugali. What else don't I have? I don't have money. Okay, I have some money in the mshwari, but it's there in case the gas depletes. Like literally right now, I'm holding on to a string. If that gas ends, I'm broke. But no need to worry. God will take care of my needs. But that's the topic of this diary. God is my source. Okay. Let me complete this first, and then I'll be able to surgically dissect this topic, which I've never actually thought of. Today it just occurred to me that I need to talk about it today. As I was in the house, I was like, I don't have internet right now as we speak. I'm quite in a place where, honestly, I depend on the but God's grace is sufficient. I'll get my needs will be taken care of. Because if you think about it, we are talking about Bible verses, stories in the Bible. Do you have the whitest things in the eyes? I noted that the last two diaries, I had some whitest things on the eyes. I'm not sure if you noted it, but I had some whitish things. Even yesterday, as I was sitting on that place near the water, I usually record near the water, so I don't know why. I don't know what changed. but I like it that way. Mm-hmm. Mm. Mm-hmm. No, I'm quite a reserved person. Mm-hmm. I'm quite a very reserved person. No, you know, at the end of the year party, hmm, at the end of the year celebrations and even parties, there is usually this excitement to always go to the church, kukesha. What do you call kukesha in English? Like you spend your nights that night when you are crossing over to the next year, celebrating in the church, singing. There are other people who spend their time in the bar drinking. There are others are in are in parties, and when that time comes is when you throw the baruti. What do you call baruti in English? Baruti. Baruti. What do you call baruti in English? These pop-ups like pa pa pa. Those nini. Okay, those ones. You might spend time doing such things, you know. And at that moment, when it's really the time is when you start counting the seconds at 10, 9, 8, 3, 2, 1, and then you usher in you piga one duru. You piga one hell of a nduru to welcome the new year. So at this point, different people will be in different strategic places where they desire to be, and each and every one is celebrating how they know best. They are just doing what they know best. This calls for the situation now, or even the circumstances that they are in. Now, for me, this got me, again, we are not, I am not going to disregard the fact that there are people who are, again, who are in work, who are working, like the doctors. I'm sure there was a doctor somewhere who was operating on a patient on that time of the hour. I'm sure there's a customer care assistant or even customer care personnel who was answering someone else's queries or even answering concerns. He was they were handling the customer's needs. Okay, there was still a pilot. There was a pilot in the air, riding his, doing his work, riding an aeroplane, taking care of the journey. The other day that I heard that there was a plane that crashed in an airport somewhere, and in a way that confirms that life is not life is something that you should never take for granted. The next minute you are riding an aeroplane, and there's this saying that, or even this notion that air is the safest way of transport. And tell me why the next minute, right now you are in an aeroplane, the safest mode of transport, and the next minute you are dead. You are burned beyond recognition, and your soul, I don't know where the souls go when someone dies, but you are no more. You are no longer living. You are just normal. So this aeroplane is landing on an airport somewhere. The control tower on the ground, they tell the pilot, guy, hi bro, we've got an issue here on the ground, and we wouldn't advise you to land on this airport. We are experiencing some birds in large numbers on this knee, so would you mind going around and then just taking some rounds, and then after this is cleared, you'll come back and land safely. This is for your safety. I call you to heed into our instruction. So the pilot was like, yeah, no problem bro, I'll take some rounds. This is my thing, let me do my thing. So the pilot does what he does best. Takes around, the aeroplane flies around. He comes again on the runway, aims at the runway, and the ground nini tells him, okay, it's still not clear, please take another round. The guy takes another round, and I think at this time the guy was like, by the this is now becoming a nuisance. Something happens once and it happens twice. There's this emotion. I wouldn't call it a feeling, but the brain of a human mind was just meant to be distracted, or even to do things and that thing is over. That is how the brain is wired. The human brain is wired. Do one thing and get out of that nini. I'm sure that time was like, me, I'm tired now. After, and remember this, I can guarantee you that this plane had taken a lot of hours in flight. Okay, so at this time the pilot is just tired, although he's enjoying what he's doing by gaining experience and even traveling hours. By this time he was like, no. Now the other time he's coming to touch on he's aiming at the runway. He says to himself, okay, I think he says to himself, now he receives the notification that, okay, captain, the ground is clear, you can now land. Haya, this is now the procedure of landing onto a runway. A runway is like a tarmac. Is it tarmac? Okay, it is tarmac. Like 3 kilometers to the end, from start to the end. Now, when a pilot is approaching the runway, usually he activates the landing gear. Landing gear is the wheels of the aeroplane. He tries to activate. Usually, an aeroplane has been given this ability to hide the landing gears, and whenever landing, the pilot presses a button, the hydraulic system, and then that hydraulic system pushes the landing gears to come out, such that now the nini are straight. See, the landing gears are straight, like they are standing on vertically 90 degrees. 90 degrees, they were folded like 45 degrees, and now they are 90 degrees. Higher, keep that in mind. Higher, the pilot tries to engage the landing gear and activate it. Tell me why at that point is when the landing gear grows some horns, inamea pembe. It decides I'll not come out, I will stay inside and see what you can do. I'm sure by this point the pilot was panicking. Oh my goodness, you mean the landing gears have failed to me? And the landing gear is what is important when landing, otherwise it will be landing with its body. It's like, you can imagine, this is the difference between having a landing with a landing gear and landing without a landing gear. Suppose this place is maybe let's talk of two cars with wheels. They are on high speed, 180, 200 maybe. 200 means that they are moving with a high velocity. Higher. Let's say they are moving in the same pace and in the same plane. Okay? Like they are on the same place. And something happens and one car loses the wheels, all the wheels, they come out, all of them, while the other still has the nini. Which will be easier controlling the speed? It is the one with the I don't know, this man who is looking at this place. I am having the same shirt color as his. I think he's curious to know what I'm doing here all alone. Okay, I'll keep an eye on him. So it will be easy. I can conclude, you can conclusively say that the car with the wheels will be easier to stop. So that is the same case that happened with the aeroplane. It doesn't have landing gears. Now it is landing with its body, like the body. And you know what that means? This could spark a fire. And it couldn't be dangerous as such, it couldn't be dangerous because at this time it is ending its journey, so it has a very little fuel. That's not a concern. Now, this runway is about 3 kilometers. It's actually one of the longest runway. It is one of the airports with the longest runway in the world. So the aeroplane lands on the runway with its body. At this time, the pilot was like, I am praying, I am hoping. The passengers on the back are like, oh God, I just hope that this doesn't happen. By the way, it was on 25th. I don't know, I'm not sure. Maybe 26 or 27. But it's the dates behind around that. Probably 29. I'm not sure about the dates. So the pilot lands with its belly. The belly is the aeroplane's belly. Lands, and before you say what, the aeroplane was in flames. What happened? It reached the end of the runway. Remember, this is the longest, but it wasn't able to manage the nini. What happened in between? You realize that you'll understand, or you'll appreciate the fact that this thing was just unprecedented and it was an accident. These were people who had just, most of them, I'm sure that they were coming out of holiday mood, or even holiday mood from other areas. This happened in Japan, I think. So only 2 or even 3 people survived that crash out of the hundreds of people who were in that plane. Imagine, it crashed at the end of the and it burnt all the way, all of it. So the next, one second you can be here, and the next second you can be somewhere else. Things could be different. Now, which, I don't know, I've talked about this story and each and every time that I look at the camera, it is usually 22. Even yesterday I looked at 22. Even usually when I look at time at in the evening or even at night, when I look at time, I find it as 22. Anyway, I don't know what the numbers mean, but if you add all of them together, it is 2. 4 plus 4, that's 8. 8 is a number of that number of infinity number, the number of wealth. I am a wealthy person. Okay, I am rich. I have influence. I am abundant. I am rich. I am wealthy. I am abundant. I am prosperous. I am successful in all that I do. So, which brings me to the topic of today. I want to analyze and surgically analyze what has happened throughout my life, such that I'm in this place, and the aspect that I'm looking for is God's provision. Right? Let's say at this time I am a sperm. Okay, I am a sperm, but I am not complete. I need an egg so that I can be complete and I can be alive. So I am a sperm eagerly looking for this egg. I'm imagining myself as an egg. Okay, I'm as a sperm. I want to say from this guy, but I want to digress from the names. They just sound so weird. That in someone says scrotum. Okay, it sounds weird. But let me appreciate that fact that I am from that point. And again, my children will come from my, from my testes. But it sounds so weird talking about it, such in a raw manner, like I came from the testes. Okay, it sounds so weird, like talking about it. Like, I don't know how, you know. Anyway, let me continue. I am a sperm. I have now been deposited in the maybe the vagina. I am now looking to be complete. So I am going to the through the cervix, goes it through the uterus, and to the what? To the, is it the ovary? The fallopian tube. The fallopian tube is where I meet the egg, and we are many, by the way. We are many. We are millions. Okay, I can imagine I was competing with millions of sperms. Like, there were so many people, and I was the only one who reached the egg in the right time, at the right place, and injected my nucleus. Because basically, you are trying to inject the nucleus so that you can be a living thing. Looking back, although not looking back, but I have an idea what happened, but I just can't. I don't have the memory. So I reached the egg first. I reached the, what do you call, the ovary, the egg covering, that covering. I inject some lysosomes. It softens the it softens the egg wall, and it penetrates, and I deposit my nucleus, and from that point the ovary closes. My tail has been left out of the nini. Usually that is what happens. You cannot enter with a tail in the sperm cannot enter with the egg or the tail in the egg. So I leave the tail behind. I enter this nini, and I meet the nucleus of the egg, and you fuse, and I become a living thing. Now me as that's where I started. That's where I became alive. I became full. I became whole. At this point, nature moves me from the fallopian tube to the uterus. Okay, the uterus. This is where now is the best place. It's the best environment where I can now start to grow, because this is the law of the universe. Nothing will stay static. You must grow. Everything will change. It doesn't matter what. Everything is changing. Like there's no static movement in this in the universe. Nothing is static. Everything is vibrating. It's either in growth, even if it means that you are growing in the wrong direction. Make sure that you are just growing. That is the essential. So that is something that you should appreciate. That is something that is important, and you should always strive for in life. Always be growing, each and every day. Just be growing. If it's a skill, just be learning each and every day. Now, I'm in this environment. I'm in the uterus. I can imagine myself in an uterus. I'm a microscopic thing, like a pea. Like, that piece. Yeah, okay. Let me say like a bean. I'm in the uterus in that manner. The same way, my daughter, Wanjiko, will be in the uterus. Okay? Like the same way. My sperm will be deposited. Okay. My sperm will be deposited to my partner's nini. To my partner's vagina, goes to the uterus, goes to the fallopian tube, and then she'll be made from that point, and then she'll be delivered to the uterus, and now this is where she will grow, and we will bond. We'll have a very strong bond with her while she's in my wife's tummy. All right. So life starts from here. I can only imagine what will have happened within the next 1 month. What I'm trying to analyze, what I'm trying to look for is the aspect of God in all this. What would have gone wrong in this, Nini? Now that's the point where God's divine protection has been highlighted, and I can appreciate the fact that this is where now God's hand comes in, God's power. I'm protected at this point. What could have gone wrong if my mom could have aborted me? You see, you have got to appreciate the fact that, and things just went the right way. I was in the right place in the right time. So God's provision, God provided protection to me. He protected me in Nini. I want to give thanks for that. Now, in the course of the 40 weeks or even the 9 months, by the which I delayed coming to this earth for about 4 days. I keep on saying each and every day. I was meant to come on January date 1. That is someone's planning. But anyway, that's not the point. But I delayed. But in the course of the 9 months, what could have gone wrong? Anything. Like in the 6 months, 7 months, when the now stomach is full. You know, someone could have fallen to the ground and the amniotic fluid or even the amniotic bag bursts, and I am left there with nothing to support the life in this Nini. What could have gone wrong? Many things, but God's provision. I am sure if I ask my mom what happened in the course of the first day of conception to the last day when I was in her stomach, or when I was in her womb, I am very sure that she never lacked food. She never lacked the nutrients, the food, the proteins, the carbohydrates, anything, mention anything. I'm sure she never lacked anything because I was there, and God is here to provide for us. So I can appreciate the fact that God provided through my dad. Yeah, he's working now. God decides, let me bless him more, because I am seeing that there is life, and I'm the one who created this life, so I need to take care of it. It's God's mandate to take care for us, take care of our needs. All right. So I wonder why people get worried about the basic needs like food, there's rent. Doesn't God know that you need it? But you need to be aware of the power that is with us. You need not worry about basic needs. I can appreciate the fact that now God provided this. I'm seeing some students, I think they are in a new uniform behind me. Anyway, that's not my point. So I'm sure in the course of the 9 months, food was in plenty and in enough quantities. God blessed my dad such that I could provide everything. Okay, he had enough money to buy the food that I needed he was taking care of 2 people, me and now my mom, because it is his responsibility. If you marry a person, you're supposed to take care of even the children that come with them, and even the person who your partner. Okay, and I also have that mandate. I've been given that mandate to provide for my family. I appreciate the fact that I'm going to be a father and a partner again. So I'll be fully responsible for them. My partner will be in school, so I'll be taking care of her school fees, her needs basically. Because when you get someone pregnant, it means that it means that you have taken the responsibility from her father, and now it's on your back, it's on your shoulders. And I appreciate the fact that I'll be the one now in charge. I'll be in the shoes of now her father, because I'm sure no parent will take care of. Okay, let me not go to that direction. I'll be the father. I'll be the person responsible, fully responsible, and now responsible for myself. Okay, and remember, I'll be responsible for this new life that I have brought to this world. They are still not yet landed on Earth, but they are in someone else's tummy, in someone else's womb. That's the word that I'm looking for. So I have got to appreciate the fact that now, being aware right now, I have information that I need not to worry about the needs. Okay, food, shelter, and clothing, and education. Yeah, and even the support. I don't know why people forget about the emotional support and the psychological. Yeah, all those are needs, but I'm there to provide for them. I keep on praying each and every day. It's in my daily prayer or my daily slogan. I am an able father, partner, husband, and I'm going to take care of my needs. And I am a leader, so I'll make sure that people are comfortable. People are being led. I read somewhere that yesterday that actually today, it was today, I'm reading this book by the title, Do Epic Shit. So in a phrase somewhere, the author says that people want to be led. You might think that people want to be self-independent, do their own thing, do their own shit. But people appreciate more being led than leading their own lives how they know best. They just want direction and they'll do the wonders. Okay, this is a new knowledge that I'll incorporate in my nini. Learn to lead and people will always respect you. But then that's the fundamental principle of leadership. Show a person what they are supposed to do, they'll figure out how it will be done. By the way, I've read this twice, even in the previous book that I read. Okay, the second previous. It's called the 16 skills the 10 skills, life skills that you are supposed to have. I read somewhere that you are supposed to just give the direction, and how it's done, the people that you are leading, they'll figure it out. Now you only need to lead from a distance. I want to understand the principle of leading in a distance. Like, you're just in a distance, but you are leading. Now, what was my point before I deviated? I was talking about leadership, provision. You are responsible for provision. And now that I understand that God is there to provide for my needs, and even for my needs and the needs of my family, I need not to worry. What I need to do is just to put in some efforts in the physical world, and then the rest will just flow and they'll never lack. Okay, people who are aware of their power or even the ability of God's influence in our lives, they know that they need not to worry about basic needs. The needs will be taken care of, and that is what I appreciate. And right now, I'm aware of that. Thanks be to God. So, Going back now to the main course, I had deviated kidogo so that I can explain the point that when you are entrusted with a life, God will provide. Yeah, God is entrusting me with my daughter, the new life, so He will provide in plenty. Actually, in plenty. I am certain that this girl, this daughter of mine, will be a blessing to even not only the family but to the whole world in whole. I'm not only tying myself to the family, Kenya. Yeah, she will be a big blessing, by the way. She'll be outspoken, this person with exceptional abilities that people would notice very fast. But let me leave it at that. Only God knows best. But what I know is that this will be I want to say that there will be an extraordinary human being, but I remember that we are all equal, only that our abilities are different. They might be, yeah. Okay, so going back to myself, to my story, this is where I started, and now I come back to the world. Now I come to the world. My mom usually tells me that I cried so hard that night that she had even to ask for warm water, so that I can drink, and then I cool down. So, for in the first hours of me coming to this world, imagine I was given water for the first time. Like, really? I'm not supposed to be drinking or even eating anything, but I was given water. I'm sure I was communicating something. I'm not happy with it. I'm sure it had something to do with the name. I'm not happy with the name. I'm not happy with the name. I'm not happy with the name that you're giving me. And that is why I changed it. I changed it last year. I changed the name last year. Anyway. Okay, I might have been communicating something. But regardless, let me continue the name. So I've been born. I'm in a hospital somewhere in Molo. Okay? Molo district. By then it was a district. But it's now a sub county. So I'm in Molo General Hospital. Okay, is it General Hospital? I'm not sure about the name, but it's Molo. That's main government hospital there. So I come to this world. A few hours later, my dad comes with a taxi. He takes me now. We now go home in a taxi. I can only imagine that I'm being in a taxi, being held by my mom, and my dad is there. Hey, the joy. I was born like a king. I'm a king, by the way. I'm important. I am important. I'm very important. So proceeded to go home, and I can tell for a fact that for the next very many months, if I ask my dad what happened in the course of in the next few months, I'm sure something changed. In his work, he started receiving more money. And remember, this is happening but in regard to supporting me, because I'm a new life, and God is providing to me my needs through my dad, and therefore he had to multiply the income that he was receiving so that he can take care of me. So yeah, I'm sure something happened if I ask him. So I'm being provided for milk. I'm drinking milk from my mom's breast, getting all the nutrients that I require. Yeah, and my life moves on. My needs are being taken care of. My diapers are changed. I can only imagine someone changing my diapers. How would I feel? I'm trying to reinvent the feeling you'd have after peeing on yourself, shitting on yourself, and someone is taking care of your shit. Anyway, let me proceed. For the next, I don't know, 2 or 3 years, someone is taking care of my needs. If I cry, someone gives me, yeah. At this stage of life, at this time, at this period of my existence, I am sure God is providing enough proteins. He's providing food, clothing, emotional support through other people. I've got to appreciate the fact that God was with me at this moment, at this period, at this time. This is in the period of 203, 204, 205, 206. Although I don't remember as much, I totally don't have any memory of whatever happened in those years. 203, 204, 205, 206. But in 207 I had some faded memories. But that's beside the point. So from age 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, let's say to 13. Okay, let me go back to those years. 1, 2, 3. What could have gone wrong in this period? This is when I'm growing. This is where I'm very curious. Children are very curious. They want to touch things. What could have gone wrong? That I touch a sufuria full of, I don't know, hot water, and that Nini pours on me. What could have gone wrong? There are many occasions that things could have gone wrong, but God protected me at this time. Why did this? But I usually have a question. I usually have a mark, like scar. I have a scar here. I wonder what happened that led to me having a scar. It's somewhere here, only that in the skin it's not visible, but I usually have a scar. I always seek an answer to whatever happened. So my mom, okay, at this point, my mom usually tells me that there was a day that the room, we were living by then in a room that its walls is made up of stones, and there was a jiko inside. So I breathed in carbon monoxide in plenty, such that I grew, like I became, there's a way you can be stagnant, like you're just staring. So I'm a child staring, and my mom was very concerned. So she's in a hurry now to take me to the hospital because she has seen some changes. What could have gone wrong? Yeah, that I breathed this carbon monoxide for the next 3, 4, 5 hours. That meant I was saved literally after my mom noticed this. I can only imagine. Now, another scenario that happened in my life. There was a day that I'm in the plot. I'm a bit pressed and I want to pee. Okay, this will go for a very long time, but anyway, I've got 20 minutes to summarize this. They have just been washed, and the floor of this toilet, or even this latrine, are very smooth. I'm in my slippers. Get into the toilet. I stand to remove what do you call it? To urinate. Before I remove the nini, I slid. What happened? My legs, I think half of my body goes into that nini. What helped me, what saved me are my hands. Like I placed my hands on where people just place their nini, place their place their place their legs while they are squatting to to download. Yeah, to download, to do the app, the download thing. That is what saved me. So I pushed myself up and I was able to save myself. And none of my slippers got into that shimo or even that latrine hole. What could have gone wrong? I slid into the nini and I go into that shit. And you know, there is water, so I'll sink. There was no one in the plot because it was a Saturday. I'm not sure. I think it was on a Sunday. There was no one in the plot. Like there were no many activities. It's when it's that time of the day where there are no activities, there are no people around. What could have gone wrong that I died at that point? God's protection. God's protection. I have got to appreciate that. But then God has protected me from many scenarios that if I go back and start to uncover, let me say in wholesome that God has protected me for the longest time. Higher. That aside, let's go back to 10-13 years. Okay, and remember 2007. There were some clashes in our area. So what could have gone wrong? At this point, food is in. I'm sure food is in plenty because I'm eating to my field. Although I don't remember any scenario when eating, but you know, I'm living. I'm living because I fed on something. I was alive. I goes to Michinda. Food is in plenty. Now, let me bring in another. Oh, time is running. Actually, I have a very long story. I just want to analyze my life, and I feel so good about it because I'm talking about my life and how God's presence in my life has been, I don't know, fundamental. I just want to say that it's the basis of my existence on this earth. It's because God is gracious, by the way. God's love. Anyway, let me proceed, by the way. So I come to Michinda, one of the best schools in this country that at that time it ever had, like the best primary schools. Higher in my primary ECD school, I wasn't that bright, but I remember this day as clearly as it is. Goes to Michinda, and what usually happens is they usually do tests. These children who are being interviewed so that they can join in this best school in our country. Michinda, at that point, it was one of the best. You know, top, even you can count as top 20, top 50 in the country. So I'm supposed to join this school. Now in my CD I wasn't that bright, but something extraordinary happened, which brings me to a question of why did it happen. I've never really gotten the answer, but I try to answer and get ideas of why did this had to happen. Anyway, I'll narrate the story simply. I do the interview, okay, as casual, and I do the exams as casual as I would. But when the results came out, I turned out to be the number one. Like, I was number one. Like, out of all odds. And remember, in my ECD, I wasn't that bright. I used to come number 20, if I go back and revisit the the data, or even the position that I used to come in, I used to appear in, I can guarantee you that I wasn't that bright. But I don't know, is it the environment changed or even something spiritually changed? I turned out to be number one, and I missed a point to reach, I don't know, was it 200 points or even 300? I'm not sure about the numbers, but I missed one point. So God is trying to glorify himself through me. Like, things were just, that's why you've got to appreciate that tables can turn, like instantly, like things can be things can be this way at this moment, but in the next maybe 1 hour I can be living in another bro. You see what I'm trying to paint? God will always be there for you. God will always provide for your needs. And that's where I get the instinct, or even instinctively, after attaining a position and becoming good at it, you tend to work so hard so that you can maintain it. That is what happened for the next 8 years. My number one was my position in my academics, and I learned that I can be exceptional, and I have lived with it, because I started with the number one, and I ended again in the number one, although not in the KCPE, but in the last exam of our Elbagon division exam, I was number one with 406 marks, and I started with, I don't know, 299 or even 319. I'm not sure about the number, but it might have been about 99. But what am I trying to paint? That number one is always my nini. And wait a minute. Wait a minute. By the way, it has occurred to me that I need to calculate the numbers. It was 199, right? So 9 plus 9, it's 18. 18 plus 1 is 19. 9 plus 1 is 10. 1 plus 0, 1. Higher, go back to class 8. 406. 4 plus 6, 10. Plus 0, 10. 1 plus 0, 1. Have you seen what I'm talking about? Like, I am number one with marks that add up to number one, a single digit number one. So basically my life is just ruled by number one. I don't know why. Okay, why I'm asking myself the other day why I was trying to change my life path to number 3. Yet I'm supposed to be a number 1. Okay. I don't know about this one. Anyway, let me just proceed. But I've never thought about it that way. It is just occurring to me right now that Combat number 1 has been ruling my life all throughout. Anyway, so in the case of 8 years, I never lacked fees. I never lacked anything. In my high school, I never lacked anything. Yani, in my life, I've never lacked anything because God has been there for me. Emotionally, so I'm a life path 1, so I know that emotional support will not be provided by other people. I'm the one to provide for myself, because being a leader, you are blessed with this wisdom to be a leader, like a leader. Wow. You know, wow. This is interesting, by the way. This is very interesting. Wow. God is great, by the way. And up to this point, I've never lacked food. You see, God is always on my side. Like, Okay, I might be broke, I might be nini, but I've never reached that point where I go hungry for more than a day or even 2 days, unless I want to. Maybe I have squandered some money. I have squandered money. There was a day that I was sent some 1,000 shillings upkeep, and I decided to buy some mods. These matches, fixed matches. Yeah. The day that I was just sent the money, and I buy some mods, and I lost the money. I was broke. I decided to lie to my dad that I need some 300 shillings extra for my nini, to buy some things that I needed. Kumbe it was a lie so that I can cover up for my nini. Anyway, and by then there was a time that I got supply of money in enough quantities, but I used to squander it. But it was in this phase where something was being taught to me. Please, you learn to financially manage yourself. This is wisdom. I appreciate the fact that God has, I've passed through the moments in life where I had to learn things the hard way. Okay? First hand, so that I can get the experience. Right now, I can't just misuse money for betting. But I was once addicted to betting. But I had to end it. I had to end the habit, and yeah, because I had lost enough money by the counting how much I have lost in buying odds and even betting. Although I have gained some, but considering in contrast to it, the money that I have used, the math isn't balancing. But I've got to appreciate that I've gone through life to teach me that. And in the grand scheme of life, it was preparing me for another phase. Right now, like, I get 15 million, I can manage it very simply without squandering it. Yeah. This is God working with you, God working with me, God working with me in a way that's unthinkable. This is extraordinary, because you have got to appreciate that you have to go through some processes so that you can come out to be a perfect thing that God wants. God can put you in a situation where this needs to be mended, so He puts you in a situation where everything is changed. Higher. So all these things God has provided: emotional support, psychological support, my physical needs, my spiritual needs. I've seen God throughout. There's one thing that I have put a mental note on. I mean, in ECD, I wasn't performing as well as such, or even excellent as such. But coming to Michinda, something changed. This when I am learning that if you change the environment and you go to a place where there's there's another set of standards, you'll find yourself performing better. Okay, what do I mean? So that I can apply it in my life. I've realized now I need to change my environment, by the way. To change my environment. Like, I just change my environment and go to a high place where I can think highly of myself. That will automatically put me in a mode where, I need to be the best of my best. Again, I'm running out of storage. I wish I had more time to explain this. But I need to change the environment to go to other. Even if I need to go to a place where the rent is so high, I need to go to that environment so that I feel compelled to be the best of my best, and I'll provide the best out of myself. I need to change my environment, by the way. it has occurred to me that I need to change my environment. God is great. I'm grateful for that. And yeah, let me end this diary here because I think I have talked and covered the areas that I needed to talk about, and I needed to vent out what I'm feeling. And yeah, let me end this diary here. Remember, this year is yours. You will be abundant, prosperous, successful in all your endeavors, in all your relationships, in all your, as you are preparing to be the father. Just prepare. Okay. I end this diary here. Remember, if it can be shaken, it can be moved. Until tomorrow, on 2nd. By the way, my birthday is on 4th. 2 days from now. 3 days. If it can be shaken, it can be moved. Until tomorrow, adios.